The stars twinkled in the night sky as Jack Porter stared out the window of his office in the United Earth Coalition headquarters. 5 years had passed since the day that changed everything, the day when humanity learned they were not alone in the universe. It had been an ordinary Tuesday morning when the massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Panic spread across the globe as the sleek silver vessels hovered silently above major cities. Jack, then a Navy commander with 20 years of service, had been called to an emergency meeting at the Pentagon. "We're receiving a transmission," announced the communications officer. "They want to speak with our leaders." The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council, a union of 7 advanced species that had been exploring the stars for thousands of years. They spoke perfect English, a fact that both impressed and unsettled Jack. Their spokesperson, a tall blue-skinned being named Vexar, appeared on screens worldwide with a message of peace. "We have watched your species with great interest," Vexar said, his voice smooth and calm. "Your resilience and creativity have impressed us. We wish to invite Earth to join our council as a protected affiliate species." In the months that followed, Jack found himself appointed as humanity's ambassador to the council. The decision had come as a surprise. He was a military man, not a diplomat. "We need someone who can see through deception," the president had told him. "Someone who puts humanity's interests first." Jack's diplomatic advisor, Susan Miller, had been skeptical from the start. "They're offering us too much," she said during their first private meeting. "Advanced medical technology, faster than light, travel, clean energy, what do they want in return?" The council claimed they wanted only friendship and cultural exchange. They explained that they had helped dozens of species join the galactic community. Earth would be granted access to council space, and humans could work alongside aliens on various projects. For 3 years, humanity flourished. Cancer became a treatable illness. Space travel expanded beyond Mars, with human colonies established on distant moons. The global economy boomed as alien technology created new industries. Jack's days were filled with meetings and ceremonies. He toured council worlds, marveling at the vast cities and strange landscapes. He met representatives from other affiliated species who spoke of the council with reverence. But something didn't feel right. "They're hiding something," Jack told Susan one evening as they reviewed trade agreements. "Have you noticed how they never let us develop our own versions of their technology? Everything comes in sealed packages." Susan nodded. "And they're always watching our scientists. Remember when they insisted on safety monitoring for Dr. Lee's fusion project? The first real crack in the council's perfect image came when Jack's aide, Zoe Adams, discovered encrypted transmissions being sent from Earth to a distant council outpost. The messages weren't going through official channels. "I can't crack the code," Zoe admitted, her eyes tired from hours of work. "But the pattern suggests they're sending large data packages about us, about humans." Jack authorized a small team to investigate quietly. What they found disturbed him. The council had listening devices in every major research facility on Earth. They were collecting human DNA samples without consent. And most concerning, they were subtly steering Earth's scientific development away from certain technologies. "They want us dependent on them," Susan concluded. "They give us amazing tech, but never the knowledge to create it ourselves." The situation came to a head when a young scientist named Nathan Gray developed an independent faster-than-light drive. Unlike the Council's version, which required exotic materials only found in Council space, Gray's drive used elements abundant on Earth. 2 days after his successful test, Nathan disappeared. "He's been invited to the Council's Advanced Research Institute," explained Vexar when Jack demanded answers. "A great honor, Ambassador Porter. He'll work with the finest minds in the galaxy." But Nathan's family received no messages. His research notes vanished from his laboratory, and when Jack requested to visit him at this research institute, he was told that security protocols prevented outside contact. "They took him," Jack said to Susan and Zoe in his secured office. "They took him because he developed something they couldn't control." "We need proof," Susan insisted. "Real evidence, not just suspicions." Jack nodded grimly. "And we need allies." "Susan, I want you to quietly contact the other affiliated species. Find out if they've had similar experiences. Zoe, keep monitoring those transmissions. As Jack left the office that evening, he noticed a council security drone hovering near the building. They were watching him more closely now. The drone's camera followed his movements as he walked to his car. The next morning, Jack received a message from an unknown source. The file contained footage from what appeared to be a mining operation on a distant moon. The workers were human, but they looked thin and exhausted. They worked with minimal protection, extracting glowing blue crystals from deep caves. "These are the special training programs the council promised," read the attached note. "Humans are being used for dangerous work because our bodies adapt better to toxic environments than most species." Jack's hands trembled as he watched the footage. The workers included people who had signed up for council education programs. People who believed they were going to learn advanced science or medicine. "They lied to us," he whispered to the empty room. "All this time, they lied." He called Susan and Zoe to his office immediately. As they watched the footage together, Jack felt something change inside him. The respectful diplomat was fading away, replaced by the military commander who protected his people at all costs. "We need to know exactly what they're doing," he said, his voice hardening. "And then we need to prepare. If they're exploiting us, they're probably doing worse that we haven't discovered yet." Susan looked at him with concern. "What are you suggesting?" Jack stared out the window at the council embassy that towered over the city. "I'm suggesting we start planning for the day when humanity needs to stand on its own. And if necessary, fight for our freedom." The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the room. None of them knew it yet, but this was the beginning of humanity's awakening. The first step toward a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. Lieutenant Alan Murphy sat alone in the small observation room of the Earth Defense Fleet ship Vigilant. The stars streaked by as the vessel moved through council space, officially on a routine patrol mission. But Murphy's real assignment was far from routine. 6 months had passed since Ambassador Jack Porter had shared the disturbing mining footage with a small trusted circle. Murphy, a former intelligence officer with a reputation for discretion, had been quietly recruited to gather more evidence. The lieutenant replayed the encrypted message he had intercepted 3 days ago. The transmission had been brief, just a few seconds of data, but it contained coordinates and a security code that didn't match any official council communications. "Computer, overlay these coordinates with known council facilities," Murphy said. The screen displayed a star map. The coordinates pointed to a small moon orbiting a gas giant in a system without any official council presence. Murphy's communicator beeped. "Lieutenant Captain Warren wants to see you," said a voice. Captain Lisa Warren was one of the few commanding officers briefed on Porter's concerns. At 45, she had a reputation for being tough but fair. The Vigilant was under her command, and she had personally selected Murphy for this mission. "What have you found?" she asked when Murphy entered her office. Murphy showed her the coordinates. "It's not on any official maps, but the transmission used council military encryption. Someone important is very interested in whatever's happening there." Warren studied the map. "We're supposed to return to Earth next week," she said, "but I think we need to make a small detour first." "That would violate our patrol parameters," Murphy pointed out. "The council monitors all ship movements," Warren smiled. "Then we'll need to have an unfortunate navigation system failure, won't we?" 3 days later, the Vigilant approached the unmarked moon. Their sensors detected an artificial structure hidden beneath the surface. To avoid detection, Warren had ordered all non-essential systems shut down. "We need a closer look," Warren told Murphy. "Take a shuttle with a small team. Minimal equipment, no weapons that could be detected." Murphy selected 2 crew members for the mission: communications specialist Daniel Wright and xenobiologist Patricia Holland. Both had been vetted by Porter's team and were trusted to keep secrets. Their shuttle approached the moon using the gas giant's magnetic field as cover. As they neared the surface, they saw nothing unusual, just cratered gray landscape. But their sensors revealed an entrance to an underground facility near the moon's north pole. "No guards," Wright observed as they landed near the entrance. They must not expect visitors. The three donned environmental suits and approached the facility. The entrance was sealed but not locked. Another sign that secrecy, not security, was the priority here. Inside, they found dimly lit corridors carved into the moon's rock. The air was breathable but thin. They moved quietly, following signs of recent activity. "Listen," Holland whispered, stopping suddenly. In the distance, they heard the sound of machinery and voices, human voices. They followed the sounds to a large chamber. What they saw made Murphy's blood run cold. Dozens of humans worked at various stations monitored by a handful of council aliens. The humans looked tired, some showing signs of illness. They were processing strange blue crystals, the same ones from the mining footage Porter had received. "Those crystals," Holland said, scanning them with a small device. "They're giving off radiation that's harmless to council species but damaging to humans over time." "Why use humans then?" Wright asked. "Because we're expendable," Murphy replied. Grimly, they retreated to a side corridor to avoid detection. As they continued exploring, they found living quarters, small, cramped spaces where the workers slept. Many of the personal items suggested these people had been told they were entering educational programs. In another section, they discovered a medical facility. Holland hacked into a computer terminal, while Murphy and Wright kept watch. "These are medical records," Holland said, her face pale in the screen's glow. "They're studying how the humans react to different conditions, testing our limits." "Are they experimenting on them?" Wright asked. Holland nodded. "And documenting everything. How much radiation we can tolerate, how quickly we adapt to different environments, how our immune systems respond to alien pathogens." Murphy downloaded the data. "We need to get this back to Porter." As they prepared to leave, an alarm sounded. "Someone detected our data access," Holland said. They ran back toward their shuttle, avoiding the security teams now searching the facility. They reached their vessel just as council guards appeared at the entrance. "Go!" Murphy shouted as weapons. Fire hit the shuttle's hull. Warren was waiting when they returned to the Vigilant. "What happened?" she demanded as they rushed onto the bridge. "We've been compromised," Murphy explained. "But we got evidence. This isn't just one rogue operation. The files mentioned dozens of similar facilities." Warren made a quick decision. "Set course for Earth, maximum speed. We need to warn Porter." Back on Earth, Porter was meeting with Susan and Zoe when he received Warren's encrypted message. The evidence was worse than he had imagined. Not just mining operations, but systematic exploitation and experimentation on humans throughout Council space. "We need to go public with this," Susan argued. "Not yet," Porter cautioned. "The Council controls all interstellar communications, and we don't know how deep this goes, who we can trust." Meanwhile, journalist Olivia Clark was investigating the disappearance of Nathan Gray. Despite official statements that he was working at a prestigious research facility, she had found no record of his arrival at any council institution. Through careful research and confidential sources, Olivia discovered that at least 20 other human scientists had similarly vanished after making technological breakthroughs. Year. She published an article questioning these disappearances. Council representatives immediately dismissed it as conspiracy theories and misunderstandings about our educational placement process. Porter requested an urgent meeting with Vexar to confront him about the evidence. The council representative received him with the same calm smile as always, but Porter noticed subtle tension in his posture. "These allegations are troubling, Ambassador," Vexar said after viewing the evidence. "If true, they would represent serious violations of council principles. I assure you we will investigate thoroughly." "I want access to these facilities," Porter demanded, "and I want to speak with Nathan Gray immediately." "Of course," Vexar replied smoothly, "though some restrictions may apply due to the sensitive nature of his work. As for these alleged facilities, I'm certain there are reasonable explanations." As Porter left the meeting, he knew he had been given empty promises. The council was stalling. What he didn't know was that Vexar immediately contacted the council's highest authority. The message was brief. "Human awareness has reached critical levels. Implement containment protocols." The Vigilant never reached Earth. It disappeared from tracking systems while passing through a remote sector of space. Captain Warren, Murphy, and their evidence vanished without a trace, but they had already sent copies of their findings through multiple secure channels. The truth was spreading, and humanity's fury was beginning to boil. The Vigilant was not destroyed as the Council had reported. Captain Warren had anticipated an attack and programmed the ship to make a series of random jumps before heading to a set of coordinates known only to her and Porter. The ship now floated, in empty space powered down to avoid detection, near an abandoned monitoring station at the edge of Council territory. "Why would they abandon a perfectly good station?" asked Technical Officer Kevin Scott as the team prepared to board it. "That's what we're here to find out," Murphy replied. The lieutenant hadn't slept well since their escape. The images of humans being used as lab subjects haunted his dreams. Warren led a small team including Murphy, Holland, Wright, and Scott across to the station. Inside, they found it largely intact but covered in dust. The main systems were offline, but Scott managed to restore emergency power. "The main computer core is still here," Scott said with surprise. "If they abandoned this place, why leave all the data? Maybe they thought no one would ever find it," Holland suggested. "Or maybe what's on it isn't important." Scott connected his equipment to the station's systems. "There's heavy encryption, but I might be able to bypass it using the Council codes we captured at the facility." While Scott worked, the others explored the station. Murphy found what appeared to be an observation room with viewports looking out into space. "They were watching something," Warren said, joining him. "But what's out here worth monitoring?" Wright discovered the answer in a log room. "This station was tracking ships, our ships, Earth vessels. They've been monitoring all human space travel for years." After hours of work, Scott called them to the main control room. "I've broken through the first layers of security," he announced. His face was pale. "You need to see this." On the main screen appeared a document titled Species Threat Assessment. "It's a ranking system," Scott explained. "The Council categorizes all species they encounter based on potential threat level." Holland read through the list. "Most of the affiliated species are ranked low, Tier 4 or 5. Look where they put us," Murphy said quietly. Humanity was classified as Tier 1, the highest threat level. The assessment cited unprecedented adaptive capability, concerning technological innovation rate, and dangerous independence tendencies. "There's more," Scott said, bringing up another file. "This is their standard protocol for handling Tier 1 species." The document outlined a multi-stage approach: initial contact with technological gifts to create dependency, identification and removal of key innovators, genetic modification programs disguised as medical aid, and, if necessary, population reduction measures. "They're not here to help us," Warren said, her voice tight with anger. "They're containing us, like a disease." Murphy pointed to another section. "Look at this archive. They've done this before." The files revealed the Council's history of encountering promising species and systematically suppressing them. 37 different civilizations had been managed over thousands of years. Some had been reduced to primitive states through engineered disasters. Others had been kept as perpetual client states, their development carefully controlled. "We need to download everything," Warren ordered, "and we need to get it back to Earth." Meanwhile, on Earth, Porter was growing increasingly concerned about the Vigilant's disappearance. Official Council channels reported the ship had experienced a catastrophic drive failure, but Porter didn't believe it. His suspicions deepened when Susan discovered that the Council's medical improvements provided to Earth contained hidden components. She had convinced a trusted scientist to examine the gene therapy treatments in secret. "They're changing us, Jack," Susan explained in Porter's secure office. "Subtle alterations to make humans more docile, less aggressive, and there's something else, a dormant sequence that could be activated remotely." "To do what?" Porter asked. "We're not sure yet, but it's in everyone who's received Council medical treatments, millions of people." Porter's private communicator beeped, a signal he had been waiting for. Warren had made contact through a heavily encrypted channel. The captain's face appeared on the small screen, the transmission breaking up. "We found it, sir," Warren said. "The truth, the Council sees us as a threat. They've been working to suppress our development from the beginning, and they've done it before, to dozens of species." "Can you get back to Earth?" Porter asked. Warren shook her head. "Too risky. But we're sending you the data through multiple secure channels. One of them should get through." The transmission ended abruptly. Porter hoped Warren and her crew would remain safe, but he knew the odds were against them. 3 days later, the data arrived. Porter, Susan, and Zoe spent hours reviewing the files. What they found confirmed their worst fears and revealed new horrors. "They're planning something called a contingency solution for Earth," Zoe said, pointing to a section of the report. "A tailored bioweapon that would kill most humans but leave other life forms intact." "When?" Porter demanded. "The trigger conditions aren't specific," Zoe replied, "but it mentions signs of discovery as a potential activation point." "We may have already triggered it by investigating," Susan said quietly. Porter made a decision. "We need to inform the Earth Coalition immediately, and we need to prepare." The emergency session of the Coalition was tense. Representatives from all Earth nations gathered as Porter presented the evidence. Some refused to believe it. Others demanded immediate action. "We can't just break ties with the Council," one representative argued. "We've become dependent on their technology, their medicines." "That was their plan all along," Porter replied. "But we have options. For the past year, I've been supporting a secret research initiative." He introduced scientists Eric Barnes and Michelle Rodriguez to the assembly. They had been working in a hidden facility, continuing Nathan Gray's research and developing Earth's own independent technology. "We've recreated most of the critical systems the Council provided," Barnes explained, "and we've improved upon them. Without their restrictions, we've made breakthroughs they probably feared." Rodriguez added, "We've also developed countermeasures for the genetic modifications and defenses against potential bioweapons." As the Coalition debated their next steps, a Council ship arrived in Earth orbit. Vexar requested an immediate meeting with Porter. The Council representative's usual calm was gone. "We are deeply concerned about unauthorized research activities," he said without preamble. "The Council requires all technological development to follow approved guidelines." "Why?" Porter asked simply. "Because you're afraid of what we might become?" Vexar's expression hardened. "I'm not sure what you're implying, Ambassador, but the Council has only humanity's best interests at heart. Always." "We know the truth," Porter said. "About the experiments, about the missing scientists, about your plans for us." For a moment Vexar was silent, then he smiled, but it no longer reached his eyes. "I see. Then we have nothing more to discuss." As Vexar left the building, Porter received an urgent message from Warren. The Vigilant had detected a large Council fleet entering the solar system. Humanity's time was running out. The Council was coming to enforce their lies, but this time Earth would not be caught unprepared. Alarms blared throughout Earth's defense stations as the Council fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. 50 ships of various sizes moved in perfect formation, their sleek designs now seeming menacing rather than elegant. In the Earth Coalition's Emergency Command Center, Porter watched the screens with grim determination. Around him, military commanders and civilian leaders waited tensely for his guidance. "They're hailing us," announced the communications officer. The main screen lit up with Vexar's face. His expression was solemn, his blue skin seeming paler than usual. "Ambassador Porter," he began, "the Council has determined that Earth requires intervention. Your species has engaged in unauthorized research and illegal investigations. For your own safety, and in accordance with Council protocols, we will be assuming direct control of your planet." Porter's response was calm, but firm. "We reject your authority, Vexar. We know what the Council really is. Not a benevolent union, but a system of control. We've seen how you exploit other species. We won't be your next victims." Vexar's eyes narrowed. "I'm disappointed, Ambassador. We've given your people so much. Now you force us to take measures we would have preferred to avoid." The screen went black. Porter turned to General Amy Foster, the highest-ranking military officer present. "How much time do we have?" Foster studied the tactical displays. "At their current speed, the main fleet will reach Earth in 12 hours, but they've launched faster advanced ships that will arrive in 3. Then we have 3 hours to implement our defense," Porter said. He addressed the room. "Everyone knows what's at stake. This isn't just about Earth anymore. It's about every species the Council has suppressed, and those they would target in the future." As the meeting broke up, Susan approached Porter with urgent news. "The secret facility reports they're ready. Barnes and Rodriguez are waiting for your signal." Porter nodded. "Tell them to proceed with Operation Awakening. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility hidden from Council sensors, Eric Barnes and Michelle Rodriguez stood before banks of sophisticated equipment. "All systems are go," Barnes reported as Porter's message arrived. "Are we really doing this? Once we start, there's no going back." Rodriguez checked the final calculations. "We don't have a choice. It's our only advantage." She activated the main console. Across the globe, hidden transmitters began broadcasting a signal on a frequency the scientists had discovered during their research, a frequency that interacted with the Council's genetic modifications. But instead of triggering the deadly program the Council had hidden in their medical treatments, the signal activated Rodriguez's countermeasure. Her team had discovered a way to reverse the Council's tampering and actually enhance human abilities. As the signal spread worldwide, millions of people experienced a strange sensation, a moment of disorientation followed by unprecedented mental clarity. The Council had suppressed human potential. Now that potential was being unleashed. Meanwhile, the Vigilant raced toward Earth, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. Captain Warren stood on the bridge watching the tactical displays with concern. "The Council fleet is bigger than anything we've seen before," Murphy noted. "Even with our new defenses, I'm not sure we can win this fight." "We don't need to win through force alone," Warren replied. "We just need to hold out long enough for Plan B." Their ship carried precious cargo, evidence of the Council's crimes not just against humanity but against dozens of species. Warren's team had compiled records of Council atrocities spanning thousands of years. "Communications, prepare to broadcast. On all frequencies," she ordered. "Target not just Earth but every affiliated species world." Technical Officer Scott approached with a concerned expression. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Council ship formations. They're deploying in a pattern, consistent with a quarantine procedure." "Quarantine?" Warren asked. "According to the files we found, it's what they do before deploying a bioweapon. They're positioning to ensure nothing leaves Earth's atmosphere after they release it." Warren's expression hardened. "Increase speed. We need to reach Earth before they deploy." Back on Earth, Porter received word that a small alien craft had entered Earth's atmosphere, evading defense systems. It landed near the Coalition headquarters, and a single figure emerged. Not a Council member, but a member of a species Porter recognized from Council records. Security teams surrounded the alien, but it raised its hands in a gesture of peace. "Name is Krasek," it said in perfectly accented English. "I served, as a Council enforcer. I've come to help." Porter was called to the landing site. He approached Krasek cautiously. "Why would you betray the Council?" The alien's four eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of distress in its species. "I was born into service to the Council. For centuries I believed their lies. I enforced their will upon other species, including my own." Krasek produced a small device. "This contains tactical information about the Council fleet, their weaknesses, their plans for Earth. I give it freely." "Why now?" Susan asked, joining Porter. "Because I saw the evidence your ship collected," Krasek replied. "The truth has been hidden even from most Council servants. What they plan for Earth, what they've done to other worlds, it violates everything they claim to stand for." Porter studied the alien carefully, then made a decision. "Get him to the command center. We need every advantage we can get." In orbit around Earth, the first wave of Council ships began moving into position. Inside his flagship, The Council High Commander received disturbing reports. Our sensors detect unusual energy patterns across the planet, his science officer reported. The humans are broadcasting some kind of signal. Interference, the commander dismissed. It won't matter soon. Prepare the bioweapon for deployment. Sir, the communications officer interrupted. We're detecting an unidentified ship approaching at high speed. It's broadcasting something. Across the Council fleet, screens came to life with images from the files Warren had discovered, proof of the Council's true nature being transmitted to every ship and planet within reach. Earth Porter and his team watched as the signal spread. Barnes looked up from his console with a rare smile. It's working, he said. The Coalition ships are operational ahead of schedule. Outside the atmosphere, a fleet of Earth vessels appeared, ships based on Nathan Gray's revolutionary designs, built in secret over the past months. Leading them was the flagship Righteous Fury, commanded by Admiral Frank Cooper. His voice came through clear on all Earth channels. This is Admiral Cooper to all Earth forces. The Council came expecting to find a helpless planet. Let's show them how wrong they are. As the human fleet moved to engage the Council's advanced ships, Porter looked at the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The Council had lied, exploited, and planned genocide. Now they would face humanity's fury, and they weren't facing it alone. Across the galaxy, other species were receiving Warren's broadcast. The carefully constructed lies of the Galactic Council were unraveling. The revolution had begun. The void of space lit up with weapons fire as humanity's fleet engaged the Council's advanced ships. Admiral Cooper stood on the bridge of the Righteous Fury, watching as his vessels executed maneuvers that the Council had never seen before. They're confused by our tactics, his tactical officer reported. Our ships are faster and more maneuverable than they expected. Cooper nodded. Nathan Gray's drive design gives us an advantage. Keep pressing them. The Council ships had superior firepower, but Gray's innovations allowed the human vessels to move in ways that confused their targeting systems. Earth ships darted and spun, striking quickly before moving out of range. On the Council flagship, the High Commander watched with growing concern. How are they doing this? Their technology should be years behind ours. Unknown, sir, his science officer replied. Their ships are using principles we haven't seen before, and our usual tactics aren't working. Launch all fighters, the commander ordered, and prepare the bioweapon for immediate deployment. We need to end this quickly. But as the Council prepared to launch their weapon, the Vigilant arrived, breaking through the blockade at maximum speed. Captain Warren's voice broadcast across all frequencies, reaching not just the human fleet, but every Council ship as well. Attention all vessels. This is Captain Lisa Warren of Earth. The Council has lied to us all. For thousands of years, they have suppressed developing species and maintained their power through deception and violence. We are transmitting proof to all ships and all worlds. The transmission included footage from the Council's own archives, evidence of their systematic oppression of species after species. It showed how they had engineered conflicts, deployed bioweapons, and manipulated genetics to maintain control. On several Council ships, crew members stopped following orders as they saw the truth. Some had never known the real purpose of their mission. They had been told they were bringing peace and stability to the galaxy. The Council commander's communications officer turned to him with shock. Sir, we're losing control of the fleet. 3 ships have powered down weapons. 2 more are breaking formation. Override their commands, the commander shouted. This is treason. But the damage was done. The carefully maintained hierarchy of the Council was fracturing as the truth spread. On Earth, Porter and his team coordinated the planet's defenses. Krozek provided invaluable insights into Council tactics, helping them predict each move before it happened. The bioweapon is their priority now, Krozek warned. They'll attempt to deploy it even if it means sacrificing ships. Can we stop it? Porter asked. Barnes stepped forward. The modifications we made to our defense grid should be able to intercept their delivery systems, but we need to keep their ships at a distance. In orbit, Cooper received Porter's warning. All ships, form defensive perimeter Alpha. Priority. Targets are any Council vessels attempting to enter the atmosphere. The battle intensified as Council ships tried to break through Earth's defenses. Human vessels took heavy damage, but they held the line. For every Earth ship lost, 2 Council vessels were disabled or destroyed. The Council commander grew desperate. "Prepare my personal shuttle. I will deliver the weapon myself if necessary." But as he made his plans, his ship rocked with internal explosions. The commander stumbled as alarms blared. "What's happening?" "Internal uprising, sir," his security chief reported, fear evident in his voice. "Multiple crew members have turned against us. They've seen the transmissions." The commander reached for his weapon, but it was too late. His own crew surrounded him, led by officers who had served under him for decades. "This ends now," said his former second-in-command. "No more lies." Across the Council fleet, similar scenes played out. Ships powered down weapons as crew members refused to continue fighting. Some Council loyalists resisted, but they were outnumbered by those who had been horrified by the truth. The Vigilant docked with the Council flagship, and Captain Warren led a team to secure the bioweapon. Murphy, Holland, and Scott accompanied her, along with a security detail. "Be careful," Warren warned. "Some will still be loyal to the old ways." They encountered resistance, but managed to reach the weapon storage chamber. Holland examined the device with professional detachment. "It's designed to target human DNA specifically," she confirmed. "If deployed, it would have killed billions within days." "Can you disarm it?" Warren asked. Holland nodded. "Already done. The delivery system is neutralized." On Earth, Porter received the news with profound relief. The immediate threat was over, but the larger conflict had just begun. The Council's power structure was collapsing, but there would be those who fought to maintain it. Admiral Cooper's voice came through on a secure channel. "Ambassador, the main Council fleet has surrendered. Their high command has been detained by their own officers." "Any word from other systems?" Porter asked. "Reports are coming in from all over the galaxy," Cooper replied. "The Council's control is breaking down everywhere. Other species are rising up, using our example." In the following days, representatives from dozens of species arrived at Earth. Many had been oppressed by the Council for centuries. Others had been unknowing participants in the Council's system of control. All of them had been lied to. Porter stood before them in the newly established Galactic Confederation chamber. Susan and Zoe flanked him, along with Captain Warren, Admiral Cooper, and the scientist whose work had made victory possible. For too long, the Council ruled through fear and deception. Porter addressed the gathering. They saw cooperation as a threat. They saw innovation as dangerous. They believed the only way to maintain peace was through control. He looked around at the diverse alien faces. "We have a chance to build something better, a true confederation of equals, not based on suppression, but on genuine cooperation, not ruled by fear, but by hope." Krasek stepped forward. "Many of us serve the Council without knowing the truth. We bear responsibility for their actions. How can we make amends?" "By helping build something better," Porter replied. "The past cannot be changed, but the future is unwritten." The new Confederation would face challenges. Some Council loyalists escaped with ships and weapons. Centuries of oppression had left deep scars on many worlds. But for the first time, species across the galaxy were working together as true equals. A quiet moment after the ceremony, Susan found Porter looking out at the stars. "What are you thinking?" she asked. Porter smiled. "I'm thinking about Nathan Gray, and all the others the Council tried to silence. They feared human innovation because they knew what we could become. In orbit above Earth, a memorial had been established for those lost in the conflict. A plaque bore a simple message. Their lies sparked our fury. Our truth brought their fall. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged not just as survivors, but as liberators. The galaxy would never be the same."